Yeah, oof, we're Clarice. Yeah, well, you got to stop visiting me. People are going to start to think that we're in love.
Yeah, I liked
I went through a bit of a Hannibal kick towards the end of last year, early this year, when I went back and saw them all because it's one of those sort of unique sort of series. Like I know, like the initial chapter of Red Dragon was adapted first, but I mean, like let's get
mm,
real. Like when Anthony jumped in on Silence of the Lambs, like that was a totally different ball game. So it's one of the rare times, like a trilogy, the first chapter was made last, and not only that, but made quite a ways after the middle sort of chapter.
yeah, it's always Brian Cox said he was really unhappy that it wasn't called Red Dragon. I was reading Dino De Laurentiis, the producer. He wanted to distance it from. He made a movie previously with the word dragon in it, and it flopped. And he wanted to sort of distance it from, uh, like you think dragon, you think maybe a martial arts movie or something like that. So he came up with the
Who
title
was
of
it? We had
Manhunter.
Ray Fiennes, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, he was in the remake. He's Francis Dolarhyde,
Yeah, that's
and
right. Yeah.
Tom Noonan plays him in the original one, and they're both great. Like he's a yeah, what a yeah, just very strong, like physically intimidating and imposing. Um, so yeah, really, really good casting on all fronts. It's yeah, so and surprisingly, the remake was done by Brett Ratner, not
Oh,
sort of
really? Oh, well, there you go then. Rush Hour,
yeah,
mate.
that's
Last
right,
Stand, mate.
and yeah, and he's sort of on record as saying I don't do dark stuff, so it was a kind of an interesting choice for that movie with its subject matter, and yeah, he sort of did a solid job with it. Um,
Yeah, well, fair enough, hey. Um, yeah, so who have we got? Yeah, yeah, Zombie says good books, honestly. Yeah, like yeah, Thomas Harris.
yeah,
Although
it's
I think the Hannibal one though, I'm probably gonna have to give it to Ridley Scott. I think that's the better way to consume that story. I think the book is a little bit of a miss towards the end there.
yeah, the book is a bit more bizarre and strange, that third one.
Yeah, like
But
when he
there's
handcuffs Clarice to the thing, like thank God that wasn't in the movie. So sometimes a fresh pair of eyes can really catch stuff like that. Yeah, hey Rudy, hope you're staying out of trouble. But knowing you, you're probably out there shit stirring. Um, yeah, like, but you know what? Like, as far as the three actual movies go, I would probably give it to Hannibal being the one that really does it. Like, what was hang on, you'll have to rephrase. Is that the Ray Liotta one?
yeah, he plays Krendler.
Yeah, Krendler. Yeah, that's right. It's always important to try new things.
Yeah, that was a bit of a silly line.
Well, not nearly as silly as what happens in that book.
Yeah, well, the first two books are tremendous. Red Dragon is and The Silence of the Lambs are phenomenal books. Stephen King made a really good observation about Thomas Harris because he's for someone so good, he's been sort of fairly unproductive. He's only written sort of half a dozen books or so since, you know, his first book in the 70s. And Stephen King could never, because he's like a workaholic, he could never wrap his brain around, like, if you're so good at something, why aren't you doing it all the time?
Hey, DG.
But yeah, yeah, Red Dragon was incredible, and so was The Silence of the Lambs.
I would love to see DG Collins, mate. I would love to see you try to keep a stream, DG, talking about Red Dragon. Like it's gonna be like the Saban dub of Dragon Ball Z, like when the Saiyans smashed through those buildings. Thank God it was a Sunday. Yeah, people would have been in that if it was tomorrow. You know, like TN saying, wait till his arm grows back. Try keeping Red Dragon, DG. That would be a tough one. Has there ever been another like an actual sequel furthering this after the three?
So a couple of things happened. There was a movie called Hannibal Rising based on a book of the same name.
And I'm pretty
with
sure
a
what Mads Mikkelsen took a crack at one of them. I think at one
yeah,
point.
yeah, he's in the television series adaptation.
I
I
know the
watched
character has appeared in different media and stuff like that, but really trying to do another installment that's attached to the trilogy, I don't think they ever crossed that line.
Nah, Hannibal or Red Dragon was the final one with
Hmm.
Anthony Hopkins. I forget who plays him in Hannibal Rising, but that's sort of the origin story. And yeah, Mads Mikkelsen as Hannibal in the television show,
Yeah, that
which
was
I
a
guess,
series, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah, I guess it must have been successful. It ran for a couple of years. I watched season one about a year or two ago. It didn't really grab me to um,
Yeah.
sort of continue with it, but um, yeah, there's still so there was if you enjoyed the trilogy, there's still a little bit of life left in it over the last decade or so.
A little bit of life left in it.
Yeah, I found Hannibal Rising underwhelming. I don't even think I finished it actually.
I don't think I've even seen it, to be honest. Like, I think the first time I actually watched the adaptations, like, I think I was probably in senior year of high school.
Mm.
Um, and that was it, because by about that point, I think Red Dragon would have been about 8 years old. The movie, like, I might have even had to do it for class. I don't know. Um, but yeah, that was probably my first exposure to some of these later ones. And yeah, when did Rising come out?
A little bit later, I maybe around '06, '07, somewhere around there. Could have even been later. For some reason, 2011 is jumping out at me, but I don't think it was that late.
Rudy's thinking about doing a movie called Legend of the Red Dragon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, why not, right?
Yeah, well, why not at this point? You got to crowdfund it, Rudy. Yeah. What are the tiers? Can I get executive producer credit if I back $1,000? Yeah, you got to lay down. Yeah, there's a gorilla on the table. Yeah, no, well, that's pretty interesting. But also, like, I also think, like, if you're gonna even like trying to do like the cinematic sequel to a literary trilogy, I mean, surely we can all have this sensible conversation that we've sat on that perch a little bit too long. Like, what are we? We're 24 years removed from Red Dragon, and that was the one that was filmed last but set first. Like, I think Anthony sort of aged out of Lecter.
Yeah, well, the Manhunter was 1986. I'm not sure when the book was published, but it was at least a couple of years before that. So it's yeah, I think it would hold up even a modern remake because one thing about them is they're very faithful. I mean, the the book just yeah just flows like chapter after chapter, just keeps building and building. Yeah, a really gripping story.
I think that's what in the business they call a page turner, right?
Yeah, and it's someone made an interesting comment. It was really the genesis of sort of CSI, the way Will Graham just surveys these crime scenes and sort of pieces together exactly how things happened. Yeah, it was all really cool stuff at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I sort of looked up that on a whim, and yeah, because I remember
Yeah.
just laughing because I was thinking I was going to have to trawl through episode after episode, but no, this little thumbnail popped up of Anthony
Oh yeah.
Hopkins as Dr. Graham.
I suppose I should explain that before Zombie gets totally lost. Um, the what is it? It was Margaret and Dave, right? At the
Yeah,
movies.
yeah, or the
Uh,
movie show. Yeah.
yeah, the movie show. Yeah. I don't know when the rebrand happened, or that might have happened before then. Uh,
Yeah, I think it happened in 2004, maybe around '03-ish, '04-ish,
yeah.
yeah.
Now we're on. Was that ABC? Like,
Yeah, because I remember
yeah.
listening, watching their take on Collateral, and that was definitely they were definitely on the ABC by then. Because
Yeah, so
Collateral
basically, it
was
was this. Just for people who might not know who Margaret and David are, they used to. They were this couple that used to review movies, on the Australia network ABC. So you'd catch them late at evening around the time. Like I'm pretty sure they had a time slot around the Spicks and Specs slot. I think that's where they were, um, from memory. But they used to talk about movies, and things like that, and what was a hot topic. And like you just mentioned, Collateral. That was 2004, I want to
Yeah,
say. Um,
yeah.
so we're going back a ways, but that's who Margaret and David were. So Miracle Man has been on a bit of a kick, going through the at the movies archive. Actually, Zombie, I'll be surprised if you remember who these people are. So, you remember seeing their one for Collateral, or you saw that recently?
No, I remember watching that one back in the day because Collateral was highly anticipated, and expectations were very high.
Yeah, of
It
course.
had been
You know,
it had been
Jamie
teased for
Foxx
a
and
long
yeah.
yeah, it had been teased for a long time. But they were definitely on ABC by then because I remember watching that when the show was called At the Movies. It's it
Yeah.
um Yeah, I kind of persevered with the movie show a little bit longer because that show didn't actually get canned. The ABC continued on, and they had like a group of four people, two men and two women, I think, and yeah, they would sort of discuss films. But David Stratton, he just sort of had that sort of gravitas about him and that authenticity, and Margaret was just so articulate and um, explaining why a movie worked for her or why it didn't. And yeah, I think she had a little bit more um, time for sort of the big popcorny stuff, where you sort of get the impression David was sort of over them by this point. She did a lot
Well,
of the heavy lifting with the sort of franchise movies like your Freddy's and your Jasons and that, and the Matrix ones, where I don't even think David commented on them.
yeah, well, if he's dropping awesome reviews like nope, nope, didn't like it at all, 1 star. Like if he's dropping things like that, I'm pretty sure the guy is over it. I like what DG said here. DGLW Entertainment will distribute it. I'm guessing we're talking about Legend of the Red Dragon. One thing I like about that branding is that it's entertainment. It's not productions. I'm tired of seeing productions on everything. Bat in the Sun Productions, like Lightning Storm Productions, Black Dragon Productions, Romano Productions. The next person who says productions on the end of their title is getting one right across the face. No more productions. I like that. Entertainment. You've broken the spell, DG. No more productions in the title. My God. But when did David pass away? Like that was,
Relatively recently, in
yeah, like
last
maybe
year or
two,
so.
two, 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen Margaret Pomerantz. She sort of pops up occasionally on the ABC still.
yeah, Margaret and David.
Yeah.
um, yeah, because I was under the impression that he died like 15 years ago. Like I actually looked him up earlier this week, and yeah, it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, I remember reading about it. It was relatively recently because he had a YouTube channel and he would continue after he sort of retired from television to review the occasional movie. I remember listening to his one on Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix one. Um, and yeah, he still had it. He's again
Oh,
very well
he actually
spoken.
has one on that. Wow, I didn't think
Yeah,
he
on
lived to see
YouTube.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh
just
well,
him
I suppose that
sitting.
was 2019, wasn't it? So yeah, no, he still would have been alive for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he continued to do it sort of sporadically by himself in on the YouTubes.
I'm pretty sure at that point, like, wasn't Margaret sort of soloing the actual program?
Yeah, I'm not
Or was
really
that
sure.
after
I
his
haven't.
death? It was really
Yeah,
weird.
I think no, I think it's been off the air for a while. I don't think she soldiered on after it. I think they made the decision to end it. Yeah, the last one I remember watching was their one for Dread, and that was 2012. I don't remember them. Um, yeah, from that point on, I'm not sure when the show actually um got the plug pulled.
Yeah.
But it's been
Uh,
really fun looking back and just sort of choosing random episodes to watch because there's some that sort of got by me. I never got around to Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, and I really should have. I'm told that
That was an
Brian Adams
animated
did the
movie, wasn't
music.
it?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a interesting sort of point. They had on some guys from DreamWorks who were discussing it. It was sort of a combination. It was kind of trendy at the time to have CG backgrounds, but the characters themselves were still traditionally 2D animated. It was really interesting hearing them talk about that. It was sort of one of those in-betweener films that were popular at the time.
Okay, okay, DG. What I'm saying is, it's awesome that you've got something that isn't actually just called Productions. And don't think I didn't forget about Rangerverse Productions as well. He belongs on that list. No more Productions. I get it. We're cool. We love producing stuff. I get it. But no more Productions. If I ever kick off a channel that's like that, in like a joint sort of venture with anyone else, like Zombie, you and me, we'll start our own channel. It can be called White Tiger Enterprises. We're going to steal Enterprises for ours. No more productions. Everyone's a production. I like a little bit of flair. I like a little bit. I like a little bit of variety. You got to add a little bit of spice to all that sugar. I like the name. Just out of interest, you don't happen to remember the movie that David was actually talking about, where he did just flat out give it a 1 star, and like he was not having a bar of Margaret. You don't happen to remember what movie that was in question, right?
No, yeah, it was a spoof on the Chaser. It wasn't actually it was them, but they were in on the joke.
Yeah.
The
Oh, well, ABC had the Chasers War on everything as well, right? Like,
Yeah, they were talking about um how on election night you have randoms behind people speaking, waving and carrying on. Um they were talking about them, I'm pretty sure. It was on one of those, The Chaser Decides or something. Yeah, no, I didn't like it
oh,
at all. One
yeah,
star.
that's right. Because they had what? The Chaser Decides, the Chaser Reacts, I think, is another one when
Yeah,
that was
yes.
blowing up. Yeah, they had all those like mini webisode different kind of things that was poking fun at other in-house ABC productions at the time. Production,
Yeah.
that word, my God, we're gonna have to blacklist that word. No, but that's all right. So, are there any other ones in particular that you're trying to track down that they covered, or
Oh
are you
yeah,
just
I
sort of
intend
playing
to.
random ones?
Yeah, because I wasn't really, because I would have been sort of late teens, early 20s. I intend to sort of go back and look at some other ones. I watched a random one last night doing some chores on Minority Report, so around 2002-ish.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2003. That was Spielberg, right?
Yeah, and Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Yeah, Minority Report. That is
Yeah,
one I definitely need to go back and see again.
yeah, I quite enjoyed it, and I didn't think I would, but I um, ended up really enjoying it. And so David sort of made the prediction that in time this will go on to be held in the same esteem as, Blade Runner and things like that, and Total Recall, and that it didn't quite. I mean, it's easy in hindsight. It didn't quite achieve that, but I was mulling it over at work, and I think I've got a theory why it sort of hit a bit too close to home. Whereas, particularly, one thing they were bang on about is targeted ads. Um, how in Minority Report, where I think it's set in the 2040s, where people just are walking and going about their day, but the ads shift and change and are targeted directly at the people walking. And that they sort of predicted that with 100% accuracy. I mean, pretty much your YouTubers and all that, like you only see ads, and Google owns everything. They know what you Google and search for. You get
Not only
ads
that,
that,
but it's also like if you disable personalized ads and things like that, then it gets tailored to the content you search and frequent.
yeah.
So even when
So,
you do decline it, it's still tailored to your taste anyway.
yeah.
Like so
And I don't think,
there's no real choice. Like the
yeah, I don't think people like that. So, a Minority Report kind of gets knocked down a bit for that because it reminds us just how, the enshittification of everything. Whereas
in shitification. Coin
Yeah.
that, write that down, zombie, in the meeting minutes.
You hear that all the time on Reddit. That's nothing original. But whereas
Yeah, but
anyway,
but you're sort of my
the
filter for
point
that. But yeah,
I'm trying to make is you know, Blade Runner and Total Recall, like we're still not mining on Saturn yet, you know. So those movies get a lot more love because the future hasn't evolved,
oh well, like even
but they
Doom, like
predicted,
colonizing Mars, like by now we're supposed to be there, right?
yeah. So I think that's maybe in time it will be held up there, but it's a really great film. I listened to their Austin Powers Goldmember one. It was a bit
2002,
loose.
yeah.
Um, what else was there? Yeah, and I do want to revisit Manhunter because David called it one of the most chilling movies ever made. I don't really remember it, but I do want to make a point to go and source a copy because yeah, and just to see, you know, the because yeah, it's been so long. Like I remember Brian Cox played Lecter, but I don't really remember much apart from that.
Well, that's the only
Um,
thing I remember about it. If it wasn't because Brian Cox is Brian Cox, I wouldn't even remember that.
yeah, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which was a massive hit all over the world, really. With the oh, I forget the female lead, but John Corbett was in it. He played the bloke in it. um, so yeah, that was a sort of made on not much money, but was a huge hit in the US, Australia, pretty much everywhere.
Minority Report. Um, yeah, I should probably. What is this? Yeah, I know Metton's made a mention of Saving Private Ryan. Uh, I've probably ever only seen that from start to finish. Like, this isn't a massive Spielberg circle jerk. It's just he happened to direct Minority Report, which is what got us going down this. I think I've ever only seen Saving Private Ryan from start to finish. I think maybe twice. Um, in my life, but it's one of those movies that you don't just sort of pop on. Like, what do you do? Do you invite the girlfriend around and sit down, and what do you recommend to get her in the mood? You're not going to whack on Saving Private Ryan, right? Like to do that. Like, it's an awesome movie. Like, don't get me wrong, but there's not many times where the occasion has come up to want to go back to it again. Like it's just sort of one of those movies. Like, I think the first Avatar is one of those. Like, with the exception of seeing it in cinemas for the first time back in 2009, I've never seen it again, and I haven't seen any of the sequels. Um, like it's not really one of those things that you whack on.
Yeah, great movie. I think I may have watched it once in the last decade or so, but yes, I think that came out around 1998. But yeah, there's just no denying the incredible power of that opening sequence with the landing at Normandy, the D-Day.
Yeah, wasn't that like Omaha Beach?
Yeah, it's just I don't think I've ever seen a war film, before or since that just had that sort of energy to it. It was just no holds barred. You wouldn't have thought Spielberg had it in him, but it's yeah, it's a phenomenal movie, Saving Private Ryan, and but I just sort of love Spielberg in general.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, he's probably the best director that's ever been. Just amazing body of work, and the stuff that even a bad Spielberg film is still a lot better than a whole lot of other movies.
Yeah, like his shithouse is better than like current director's best. like
Yeah,
not like
I'd agree. And even by his own standards, like he often has said that Hook is his worst movie, but that movie shits all over like a lot of other stuff. So
It's interesting what you said about Hook because I actually thought that remembering how to fly scene is probably one of the more profound things in Spielberg's catalog. The fact that people give the movie a total miss these days, and I'm not even a Peter Pan guy. I actually really like that scene, and not to mention the titular character himself. His introduction is probably second to none, like maybe rivaling the T Rex in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it was incredibly well done. That scene where
like
Hook
with like with
takes the
the
children.
like with the chandelier and all of that, and the glass chinking and all that kind of thing. Like I mean, like that was a pretty solid intro, man. Like Spielberg on his game.
Yeah, and the gashes all up and down the walls of the house. It's yeah, and there's some really great scenes in it when Pockets rubs Peter's face, rubs the wrinkles out and sees him for who he really is. It's a beautiful scene. The ending is terrific. Dustin Hoffman
Oh, that's right.
is
Yeah.
terrific. Yeah, as Hook. Yeah, always sort of yeah, and the idea of of an adult Peter Parker, or not Peter Parker, Peter Pan returning to Neverland. Yeah, that's probably worth a film. So, and there's been sort of many, before and since. I think Hugh Jackman did one like a couple of years ago. There was one, I think, with Jason Isaacs as Hook, and
Yeah.
from a couple of decades ago. So, and I think there's sort of even more kind of newer ones. The Yeah, and it's always interesting, all those adaptations, because I know in a lot of stage productions, the role of George Darling and Hook are often played by the same person. You see someone made an interesting comment
It's
a
almost
year or
like
so
sort of,
ago.
yeah, it's almost
The
a little bit like Jonathan Hyde in Jumanji in a sort of a way, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Like
was about to say that.
as the dad
Someone,
in Van Pelt, you know.
yeah, it's a really interesting thing going on there.
I wonder just how much of that is by circumstance, because I'm pretty sure, as far as Jumanji's concerned, like I think Joe Johnston said, Van Pelt was meant to be someone else, but that whole thing fell through, and
I
Jonathan
believe
Hyde is
so,
sitting
yeah.
there doing nothing, so just make it him.
Yeah, I believe so. They went for someone like a bit more physically imposing, but it wasn't really working after, a day or two. So yeah, Jonathan Hyde ended up pulling double duty.
Yeah, well,
But
I
I think
always
it,
like seeing Aussie talent because that's something that does get lost in the shuffle a little bit. That Jonathan Hyde is an Aussie.
yeah, and it sort of thematically works um, as well. The his tormentor in the Jumanji world is played by the same guy.
And like, look, I type in Jonathan Hyde and Jumanji is like the first thing that auto completes. Well, of course.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, something, yeah, really interesting going on there. But it's also like I find with the Peter Pan adaptations, they go through these sort of cycles where it's trendy that George Darling and Hook are played by the same guy, but then it's trendy not to do it, and they're two separate actors. And then, it comes full circle where they they make them the same actor again, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's so interesting and unique." And no, they've been doing it for like 100 years in stage plays and that, but and then it circles back around again.
Like that's the thing that always cracks me up when people say it circles back around, it's coming full circle. Like I always like the classic Richard Jackson sort of approach to that. Like, no, it's not. It's a really fucking lazy retread that's been happening in all of the entertainment that you consume for as long as you've lived.
Yeah,
Like is what's going on there. Like that's nothing new. Like we're ending where we started, we've come full circle. We're literally back to where we started is what's
yeah.
happened. um, like it's not profound, it's not groundbreaking, it's none of that. Yeah, is there any sort of trope that sticks out to you, like what you were saying, like, oh, it's cool that it's trendy, it's new and all of that? Is there any example that really pops out to you that really does make you shake your head? Going like, you know, like this has been done. And funny enough, it's probably even in their bio or in their wallpaper or in their toy collection room behind them when they praise something for doing that and not
Um,
realizing that it's been done before, and it's right there in living color.
yeah, well, it happens. It generally happens a lot in the comics world, or it used to. It's because I guess it sort of, I mean, stories have a natural sort of conclusion, don't they? But these characters make too much money, so it's become just one big long second act. And so yeah, like there's often you know, like the trope of, taking the hero off the table and replacing him, like our Nightfall discussion
Yeah,
last week. You know, um, Superman gets replaced by four guys, Batman gets replaced by Azrael, Spider-Man gets replaced by Ben Riley, Thor gets replaced by Thunderstrike, Hal Jordan gets replaced by Kyle Rayner. So you know, but Batman again, he's been replaced sporadically by Dick Grayson. um, so, but each time it happens because I guess because you know people who weren't born in Nightfall now get to experience it. So I think that's sort of what is what's going on as well when you see all this excitement about something that's been done before. That's probably the first or the latest generation going through it for the first time.
I honestly couldn't imagine that. Like, I'm actually excited for the people whose first time exposure to Nightfall is going to be the new movie. Like, I'm jealous in a lot of ways because it looks like it's going to be a great time. I honestly couldn't imagine being someone who would turn around and say, "Oh, well, that's not very original. They did that back in 1995." Like, it's 31 fucking years ago, man. Like 1995 was not last week, right?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't imagine being a guy like that, man. Like I really couldn't. Um, but yeah, I suppose that Nightfall is a very good answer to that question, though. It's probably the crown jewel answer to that question. Like, yeah, we'll tear it apart now, but it was cool and innovative 31 years ago. Well, when's the last time a Nightfall, like, if I think off the top of my head, if we're using Batman as the example, RIP is the last time I can think that they kind of retread that, and that was
Yeah.
what,
Well, no,
2008, I think that was.
yeah, no, in the new 52, he was replaced by Jim Gordon was the new Batman, believe it or not.
Oh,
Because
well, there
remember
you go then.
he wore that giant mech suit, I remember. So that was around 2015 or so. So it's happened since then as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
all
a
right.
different continuity.
Oh, well, the last time I could think of it was RIP. Like, that should give you an idea of how long I have not been actively following comic books. That was almost 20 years ago. RIP came out.
Yeah, and yeah, I think Dick Grayson was Batman then, but it was kind of a short stint. Scott Snyder wrote some really good stories with Dick in the Cape and Cowl, and I guess that's what got him the nod leading into the new 52. So yeah, he was the writer for Batman for a long time. Yeah, some of his stories were really good,
Yeah. Yeah, to be
and
honest
it
with you,
was
like, I'm pretty sure I've read RIP once. Um,
yeah, it's very dense. Because the one thing Morrison did, like he embraced the whole history of the character. Like a lot of characters sort of ignore, or a lot of writers rather ignore, the sort of sci-fi stories from the 50s when it was all about the aliens and that, and the sort of the war stories and
yeah,
that from the
keep it all
40s and so
grounded
on.
and
Yeah,
realistic, and yeah. Well, this
but
was also at the height of Nolan. You've also got to remember as well, so that's probably
yeah,
another
very much
reason
so.
why. Yeah, I guess. And the
Um,
Arkham Asylum was coming out not long after this.
yeah, so Morrison, to his credit, sort of, yeah, he's a real stickler for the whole, yeah, Batman has just a tremendous history and depth. Um, so he, yeah, really embraced all that. Um, yeah, and so yeah, then they sort of made the choice to reboot it. Although a lot of the concepts Morrison introduced were preserved, like he created Damian Wayne and um, other things like that. So, and they were sort of carried over to, um, the New 52. And I mean, it was obvious they had a massive hit on their hands with the Court of Owls. That was the opening sort of explosive
Yeah, well, that's
kind of
true as
opening
well. Yeah.
story arc. So yeah, they just kept sort of going back to that well with the Night of the Owls, and the Court of Owls eventually got an adaptation in animated form, and I think
Yeah. Do you think?
one of the seasons of that show, Gotham, did their own take on it.
Do you think that's probably one of the reasons why RIP is just sort of nudged off to the side? Because like I know it introduces things like and like Last Rites did it as well, with like for example like an enemy like the Black Glove. Like, do you think because the Court of Owls was such a massive success that stole a lot of the Black Glove's thunder?
Uh, yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. But yeah, there's some really good concepts as well. Yeah, you could be right because I think he's a more
Well, it's just interesting to sort of think
really.
about, like, because like again, like the Black Glove, there's a lot of beats that are very similar to the Court of Owls, but I think because the Court of Owls sort of blew up the way that they didn't feel all that sort of confident moving forward with the Black Glove. Like, I know that the original idea was meant to have Thomas Wayne be the head of that, but I think when the Court of Owls took off, they kind of like lost confidence in like another secret group altogether.
Yeah, you could be right. But I thought, yeah, Morrison sort of did introduce some cool concepts like, um, yeah, like I like the idea of the sort of this Batman force internationally. Like, why does he? Because it sort of made you think differently about sort of being a force for good and change. Like, why does he? Like, why is dressing up as a bat and beating up thugs the best way to go about it? Like, why not use his immense wealth to put all these sort of things in place? So it was a really unique, interesting way to do it. Not unlike Joe Michael Straczynski tried something kind of similar, kind of not with Spider-Man, with the Ezekiel Morlun sort of storyline where Peter encounters Ezekiel, who has identical powers, but he sort of used his gifts not to sort of fight crime in that sort of way as a superhero would, but he sort of put his efforts into all this good for society. Whereas, and he sort of calls Peter out, you've got terrific science skills, and like, why aren't you, what are you doing with that, And I think Batman's a sort of Brad Meltzer made this comment many years ago. We went through this phase in comics where Batman was the most powerful hero ever,
Yeah.
but he's just not that. Like, I think he's a more interesting character when he does miss something occasionally. Like, because I found it hard to get into the Court of Owls to begin with. Like, I find it hard to believe that they've been around for years and he wouldn't know. But then I thought it makes him a more interesting character that they've been able to operate.
Yeah, because that was one of the biggest, like when I was finishing school and then just sort of finding my way in the world, I was reading a lot of Batman around that time, and I remember seeing a comment once saying Batman is just a fucking Chuck Norris joke today. Like
Yeah.
like Batman wins, blah blah blah. Batman wins, Batman, yeah, because he's Batman, right? And then when you go back and then you see some of like, yeah, that's probably why a lot of the time I gravitate more towards things like the Adam West type of Batmans, where he does make some colossal blunders. Like, of course, Kit Car is Catwoman. Like, I get that it's campy and all that kind of stuff, but it makes sense that he would screw that up because he's not thinking up here; he's thinking in here. Is what's going on there, and I love it
Yeah.
when Batman makes mistakes like that. But for the longest time there, like I would argue, probably I don't want to pin it on Nolan because I think it was happening before that. I'd probably pin it around 2003 onwards. Was when it was yeah, Batman, became the Chuck Norris joke that he always wins. Like, give him enough time, he can take down Galactus. Uh, I'd say probably since then, the Arkham games, and then Nolan came out, and then it all sort of just spiraled and snowballed from there. But it's
Yeah.
nice to see that things like because like that's why I like what I hear a lot about these Batman movies that Matt Reeves is doing. I like hearing a lot of the things that I'm hearing from the interviews that Matt Reeves does. Like it seems like he's very much from that sort of era where Batman does screw up, like like locking your keys in your car, kind of silly,
Yeah.
like because he does make mistakes like that.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
But I also but at the same time I also do love it when he has a bit of a smart aleck sort of it. But who doesn't like smart asses in their heroes in comic books? And when I think about Batman cracking a joke, I always think about Val Kilmer in Batman Forever when he goes to meet Chase Meridian. What can I do for you, Mr. Wayne? Someone's been sending me love letters. I found one in my office and one last night at my home, and they're like death threats.
Yeah.
Like,
Somebody's been sending me love
yeah,
letters.
someone's been sending me love letters, and they're like death threats. Yeah, I just love the way Val Kilmer plays that because I think that's very in tune with what the Michael Keaton Batman would have done.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it when they sort of have fun with
Yeah, like that moment in Batman Returns when Bruce sits down and throws the report across the boardroom at
it.
Max. Like that's another one. Like I think that was a very classy shot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, not sure I appreciate the influence, Bruce. Yeah, sorry, Max. I didn't realize I made one. Um, oh yeah, Metten did make a mention of. I watched the 2018 Voltron show on Netflix. To be honest, animation is not bad. Actually, I think that's the Legendary Defender one.
Yes.
It's actually yeah, it's actually really good. Very sublime in terms of putting it all together. Like I watched the first season and I really appreciate making Princess Allura an alien in it. I thought that was really cool. But I never saw the rest of it. Shiro was a bit of a tough sell for me, so I never followed it through. I like the fact that Pidge was a girl in it. I thought that was a change you could easily get away with. Um, and I liked a few of the other things that they did, but yeah, Shiro was a bit too much for me. Did you see it all?
Oh, no, I haven't. Did Metten rate it? Was it good? But I do have plans. I hope to be able to, yeah, I'm sort of timing it. I want to be able to watch the whole thing before the Voltron movie next year. But yeah, I definitely do have plans to sit down and watch it from beginning to end.
Yeah, Legendary Defender. I ever only saw the first season of it.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd be lying if I could tell you exactly what it is because, as he said, it was 2018 and that was almost a decade ago, and that's probably when I watched it for the first time. In all honesty, I've probably got more of a memory of Voltron Force than Legendary Defender because I remember, what was it? Jeremy Correa was saying that they were actually, and that's even finalized in the Voltron Force cartoon from 2011, was that they were seating in the actual crew of Diruga 15. Like Vehicle Voltron was meant to rock up in the season that never was, you know?
Yeah.
So that would have been cool to have an actual sort of American production tackle Vehicle and Lion Force Voltrons on their own terms, but sadly it never quite kicked off. And I know that there was a lot of fan wank about there being a Robotech sort of was Robotech gonna bleed over into Voltron Force? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's hard to believe because doesn't Harmony Gold own Robotech?
Well, that's what I thought. Like Robotech, like God only knows how many fingers are in that pie. Like maybe
Yeah.
it was just like a little
I
bit of a fan
wonder,
fiction sort of a screw around, but like I
yeah,
could
well,
see Voltron in that universe, but I'm not very familiar with Robotech to be honest with you.
I wonder why you could be, because I watched the Voltron Force and it always, but that's the other thing as well with the first point I'll make. It's any iteration that comes after if people were fans of the original show, you sort of have to park that and just judge the next one on its own merits. I like
Hmm.
because if you sit and watch something and it's not the same, little things like that sort of bug me and stop me from enjoying it. But when you sort of process the fact it is a reboot, it is a reimagining, it's got nothing to do with the 80s show, it's not continuing on with it, then you sort of want it to sort of succeed. So yeah, do introduce new characters if the older ones don't really fit anymore, and yeah, just really make it your own. That could be why, because sort of what bugged me is all these fucking randoms walking around the castle. I wonder if they're the Vehicle Force team they were seeding. Because you watch
Yeah,
that show and like, who's this dude? Has someone checked his security clearance? Why is he fucking with the Lions? Piss off.
and not to mention they're all color coded as well, like the
Yeah,
vehicle force, air, sea, and land teams.
yeah. I wonder
So
if that could have been sort of the groundwork they were laying for, yeah, a future
yeah,
show.
so Jeremy actually pointed that out, and he was just like, yeah, because apparently that was going to be the big end game, was that they were going to tackle Fleet of Doom again, but this time on their own terms and not pre-existing sort of anime footage from two different series. Well, that would have been cool, but you know, and you know what? It was a very smart move to do it that way, to sort of seed the Voltron, the vehicle Voltron team in on the back of the Lion Force one, which is something that even he admitted was, you know, it's we're not
Hmm.
deliberately putting vehicle force on the back burner. It's just that Lion Force, when you think Voltron, that's the one that pops into everyone's head, right?
Yeah,
Um,
very much so.
so
Yeah.
like that one has to be the first cab off the rank every single time. Um, but I think that was the way to do it. I just think it might have been a bit of a tough sell, like what you were saying. Like you got random guys screwing with the Lions, and there's no Keith or Hunk or Pidge around them, but just randoms. Like, I mean, like, would it have been? Do you reckon it would have been too much to have had these other, like, sort of background, like cadets or whatever that they're called in Voltron Force, walking around the actual components that made up Vehicle Voltron? Like, if they were walking around, like, the helicopters that made up the chest or something, like, in the background, like, just to sort of see if people would realize what it actually was.
Yeah, well, that could have worked. Yeah, absolutely. It just but again, it like in and of itself, it's fine to have other people sort of living and working in the headquarters. It's just because it was different, it just sort of bugged me. I need to, and that's my own baggage, you know. I need to park that and just judge the show um on its own merits. In this world, in this reimagining, you know, people are allowed to tinker with all their technology. It's yeah, and a part of me sort of thinks good on them, you know, because if you're going to do a reboot, you know, really sort of go your own way. Because I don't want a continuation or an adaptation. I'll just go watch the '80s show, you know.
Yeah, or like a belated sequel to it, you know, because
Yeah,
then it really is just more of the same, isn't it?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I don't really want that either. So yeah, yeah, you know, make a new character for a new pilot. Yeah, more power to them, I think.
Do you ever think that they should do something really crazy, like because I know that there was another one, like what you had Beast King Go Lion, which was the basis of Lion Force. You've got Diruga 15, which was the basis of Vehicle Voltron. I know there was another one that formed Gladiator Voltron, and there was two, but that never saw the cartoon treatment. Do you ever think they should just full on pull the trigger and Web should just flat out make up their own one down
Yeah,
the line?
probably. Yeah, yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, because like, how does it work? Like, I think Lion Force is the far universe and Vehicle Voltron is the near universe. I think
Yeah,
that's how it works.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, because I think Diruga 15, like that vehicle, like they flat out say it's Earth in that, and it's planet Aris in the Lion Force one. Yeah, but like I
yeah,
reckon if they're gonna pull the trigger, if they're gonna bring the hammer down on doing their own uh third Voltron on their own terms, I would set it in the far, far, far universe. Like I would play up the naming conventions. Like you got the Voltron of the Far Universe, the Voltron of the Near Universe, Lion Force and Voltron, Vehicle Voltron. I would go the Far Far Universe.
yeah,
You know, like just to really screw with people. Like I know we were talking about this, what like a month or so ago about like you have this sort of solid naming convention, and then you just totally throw it out the fucking window.
yeah,
You know, like you look at the rebuild of Evangelion movies. They all did that. It was like they all had the "you cannot" subtitle. Like 1.0, you cannot you are not alone. 2.0, you cannot advance. 3.0, you cannot redo. And then the fourth one comes out and it's 3.0 plus 1.0 thrice upon a time. It makes no fucking sense compared to what came before. I would do that with a third Voltron that was like totally made on their own terms. That's how I would do it, at least. I would go the Far Far universe or something like that. Just really have some fun with it. Um, but to be honest with you, like I'm pretty sure if I remember right, Daruga 15, which was the basis for Vehicle Voltron,
Mm.
that was sort of like a Star Trek show. It was like exploration, like deep space exploration. It wasn't really battle the way Beast King Go Lion was. Like it had elements of that in it, but it was more about like intergalactic, like sort of space travel.
That's correct. Yeah,
From
that was
what I
seeking out.
understand, yeah, they were trying to
Yeah,
find something in that.
yeah, looking for new planets to colonize and other stuff like that.
Yeah, which is funny how it all works out with a few, you know, minor dub edits. Like Planet Arris, I'm pretty sure was a nuclear torn planet Earth in Beast King Go Lion. Or at least that's how I think it worked. But it's amazing just how something can become sort of an icon with a few thin edits and a decent musical score, right? And the box sets. But yeah, that's how I first started watching um, Vehicle Force.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to think like what's probably the most recent exposure that it's actually had.
Oh, no doubt it will get a bit of a bump when the film comes out. It might even get another release. I mean,
Or do you
the
reckon it
masses.
might? Or do you reckon it might get the Knuckles treatment? Like because the Vehicle Voltron sort of saga loans itself to a TV format pretty well.
Yeah, possibly. I know Masters of the Universe. Um, that original show got a Blu-ray set. Maybe the Lion Force and the Vehicle Force will get another print back into circulation. If not, yeah, an outright all new show. But it's hard to see if this one does well. I know it's a bit of a downer going direct to streaming, but if it's a big hit by whatever metric they're judging, yeah, there'll definitely be
But there's every
plans to.
chance, like but surely there's every chance if it does well in that format that they might even reconsider doing the next one in a theatrical setting.
Yeah, quite
You
possibly,
know,
yeah.
like so it's not like the total end of the world. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but we don't. That's the thing. We don't really know what they judge success by because like they're very reluctant to release their metrics. Like, what's a success in for a streaming movie or show? No one really seems to know.
Yeah, and knowing our luck, Sven's probably going to get jilted.
Yeah, more than likely.
But you know, like, because like I know you dabble around in writing like quite a lot. Do you actually think that there is a lot of sense in that? Like to just forego the character completely and just have
Yes,
Allura or someone. Yeah, like you agree with that cut, right? Though, like on that standpoint.
I do. Yeah, poor Sven has to go. He's just this relic.
Yeah.
The show is. I just think bringing him in just brings too much baggage. So um, yeah, have an original character, or because if you bring him in and he sort of yeah. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, I think they should probably sideline him. Yeah, poor Sven. um,
Yeah, look,
I just don't want to get bogged down in all this crap. Um,
yeah, I know. Like it's similar to like the mismatching suits. Like the more I think about it, the more I like Allura in blue from Third Dimension. Like I like
mm,
Princess Allura wearing a blue lion suit. I don't give a fuck about the mismatched colored suits anymore.
yeah.
But that's just me though. No, but that's integral to the structure of the show. It's very important to the characters. No, it's fucking not. Like I was talking to a mate of mine in the Discord a few nights back, right? And talking about apparently Disney have pulled out of doing the Power Ranger reboot. Like that's not going ahead. Like that's it. We're done. And you know, like it's a lot of things, but it's not a shock. But we were talking about the concept of a power morpher, like around, and he made a mention of the fact that around Mystic Force, they were like the power morphers were like flip phones.
Mm.
And you know, like at this day and age, if we're redoing Mighty Morphin, the morpher would have to be like an app on a smart screen or something, right? To morph into a ranger at this point. And I made the point of I would ditch the morpher completely and I would have them like do like a Guyver and morph into the actual warrior that they're meant to be. I would get rid of the whole trinket that transforms them entirely. And he made the point of, yeah, but then there's going to be fans going, no, 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 it's integral to the DNA of the characters that they use a morph. No, it's fucking not. Get rid of it.
I
Like,
haven't heard that Disney have canned it. Is that true?
Zombie made a post about it that I saw, saying that, yeah, no, it's not going ahead apparently.
Okay.
Oh well, fucking. What do you want me to say? Where's my surprise face? Oh, it would have been cool to have seen it, you know, but like, where do you go? Like, there's been numerous TV reboots that haven't stuck the landing. We've tried the movie scene 3 times now from 3 different eras in 3 different ways, and none of them stuck the landing. Like,
Yeah,
maybe.
don't get me wrong. I'm not surprised they've canned it, but this
Oh, yeah.
seemed very far along. This didn't seem something like they've pulled the plug on at a conceptual stage. I thought it was sort of fairly well along, but I guess not.
Oh, well, I don't know. Like, I would like to see something come out, to be honest. I mean, like, and also like don't get that wrong. Like I don't actively follow it, but I would like to have seen something to sort of prove it wrong. You know, like to prove the mindset wrong.
Yeah. Oh well, that's a bit of a shame. Um,
Are you still
yeah.
torn up? Are you still torn up about your reignition Dragon Zord?
Um, uh,
You can
no,
let it
not
out.
really. Like
Yeah,
I,
you
it
you
just.
can tell Steve.
Is that? Oh,
I
you could tell Luke. Is that who you could tell?
Yeah, you could tell. Yeah. Oh, but you could tell Miles. Is that who you could tell? Yeah, that's Brandon Routh. No, I did. I was meant to say I did put in the order for the White Tiger one, but I'm only picking that one up um,
Okay. The
from the
Tiger
games.
Zord.
Yeah, because I mean, like, why not? Like, the white
Mm.
tigers are sort of my thing. Like, I love the white tiger tattoo and all that kind of shit. Like, so I put the order in for the white tiger Zord. I was eyeing up the red dragon because the gamesmen have got all six of them
Mm.
lined up right now, but I only pulled the trigger on the white tiger Zord for now. Because that's I mean, like I got to represent, right? But from what I gather, like when I was doing that Resident Evil 5 stream and you were talking about this thing, how it's made and it's locked and it's loaded, it's a crowd fund. Fuck knows why, but it was a crowd fund. Apparently, the people that actually backed it are going to be receiving their toys of the Dragon Zord early 2027, I think they said.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I love the way you phrased it like that. Like these Kickstarters. Like the bare fucking minimum, right, is you get what you ordered. But we
Yeah.
we we act like it's some epic achievement. Like the bare fucking minimum on these kickstarting and crowdfunding sites is if it's a fucking miracle if the thing actually ever gets
Yeah,
made and delivered.
I know. And why the fuck is a drag? Why is the drag? Listen, let me repeat this, Miracle Man. All right, listen. Why the fuck is the single most popular Zord of all fucking time a crowdfund?
Yeah.
Like, why? Eh? Like, please explain it to me. What brainiac thought your bonehead creator picked a fine chapter to omit from your memory banks? Why would they choose this of all things to put behind a
Oh,
fucking crowdfund?
yeah. Yeah, he's people love Peter Valandis. Why? Because he gets shit done. So basically everyone who got up today and went to work, he's just as impressive as them. They got shit done today.
Like, but like, I would, you know what? I would really like. How about this for a fucking crazy idea? Why not crowdfund and on scale to Dragonzord in battle mode a villain that it actually fought? You know, like what about Mutitus? Like, crowdfund and on scale Mutitus to the fully built Dragonzord in battle mode. Like, that's something that I would put money down on. Why the fuck would you choose the Dragonzord to lock that? I see Rebel Dynamite, mate. Hey, John, I hope you're having a good one, mate. They know MMPR fans will reach into their pockets. Yes, but the problem I've got with that is if this thing was released as is with a premium price, surely the same effect would have happened. Like, why did this have to be a crowdfund? It's similar to what Mattel did with the Jurassic Park gates for the Hammond collection. Like, those gates would have sold like hotcakes. Why the fuck was that a crowdfund? You know, like, same deal here. Like, it's something that's a crowdfund that really shouldn't be. Like, you really only, I think Michael French said it best at Retro Blasting. You crowdfund something that you're not sure about the retail feasibility in. This is the fucking Dragon Zord we're talking about. Like, like it's not my favorite Zord, but uh, let's be honest, like it's easily hands down the most popular Zord of all time. Surely we're confident in its ability to sell at retail. There's no reason that needed to be a crowdfund. Well, hell, Voltron made you mad. Voltron didn't make me mad. I'm cool with Voltron. Um, but I guess where I was going with that Miracle Man was did you pull the trigger on the other reignition Zords though?
Um, I got the first wave. I got the Dinosaurs. I haven't got any of the Thunderzords yet because I haven't seen them around. I picked all of these ones up just sort of in person. Um,
Yeah.
but I was at the mall the week before last, and they didn't have them in yet, but they're slowly trickling out throughout August, so they're probably there now. I wanted to, I might duck up early tomorrow and have a look around. So yeah, I might just pick them up at um, retail, but I don't know. I'm sort of umming and ahhing. I regret buying. I bought the five individual Zords, and I also bought the Megazord that you can't disassemble. So I'm sort of umming and ahhing. Should I just buy the Thunder Megazord or the five individual ones? I don't really want to buy both. What's making me leave the hobby is there was a good YouTuber. He put up a video the other day about why he quit collecting, and it's funny because I remembered having this discussion with you about a year or so ago
Mm.
about the '86 series Galvatron, and you sort of I bought the Kingdom one, and then the very next fucking year they bring out this thing, and you just get the feeling you're getting treated like an idiot. Um, and
Well, I
and it's
think
because I don't. We were discussing should I upgrade or not, and I eventually decided not to. I'm happy with the Kingdom one, and I looked at the '86 one and didn't see enough of a reason. But this guy, and it's funny because I remember he there was a video about it. I think it's titled Kingdom versus '86, upgrade or not. And yeah, for this guy, he was sort of the last straw. Like I'm sick of, and I made this sort of another conscious choice with Masters of the Universe. I'm not, I'm not owning 20 Beastmans. I'm not owning, like that's it. I've like I feel like a bit of an idiot for buying. I own. Well, like look at Triclops, for example. Like I own two versions of him now, and I kind of regret that. Um, and say what you want about, and he made a good point. Say what you want about G1 and the G1ers, but back in the day, you bought a toy, that was it.
yeah.
And
Like no one completed a combiner team when they were kids in the 80s.
yeah,
You
like
know, yeah.
now you've got Siege Astro Chain, you got Kingdom Astro Train, you got '86 Astro Train. It's just fucking exhausting.
And I think
I'm
I think
tired of
I
feeling
think
like that, you know?
Gal like I think Galvatron is a good example of that because there was the Kingdom Galvatron, then he had a Legacy Evolution release, then he had the 86 release. So they did
Mm.
him three fucking times in 3 years.
Yeah. And you just sort of think, well, what's the point, you know? Are they just going to keep fucking gouging us forever?
Which is why I put my foot down. I'm not buying the 86 Cyclonus. Get fucked.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
like, yeah, because they actually, and I knew that was coming because everyone was asking for it. Like the Kingdom one is fine for fuck's sake, and
Yeah.
this thing is coming out, and it's out now, but that wasn't it. There was two more that came out in that wave with Cyclonus in '86. So you got 86 Cyclonus, 86 Sunstreaker, and 86 Wheeljack. I've got the Siege Sunstreaker, same old, and I've got the Kingdom Wheeljack. I'm not picking those things up. I've already got these guys. Get out of here. Like, not happening. You know,
Yeah.
you're fired. Get off my set. Like, for me to pick up like I'll go all in on a character that doesn't get much exposure. Like I know Studio Series is doing a trilogy set of the Rainmakers. That's something that
Mm.
I will pick up because I don't own those guys at
Yeah.
all.
But again, I feel like an idiot because that's a four pack. They've
Yeah.
put,
Iron
um,
Storm, Sunstorm, Nova Storm, and Acid Storm. There's
yeah,
four of
but
them
I
in that
feel
pack.
like an
Yeah.
idiot because I bought the Siege pack with three of them. So what? I got to fucking down what $150 because I don't own Sunstorm. Like I feel like a complete fucking idiot. Like
Yeah.
why did they do that? Um, you just
And you told me the Coneheads were even worse. Like what? Like
yeah.
Thrust and Dirge, I think, are in a fucking
Yeah,
set
they
together, but
released them as a
there's
two
no
pack.
yeah, there's no Ramjet.
Yeah. That's right. It's oh God, that Rainmaker one pissed me off because Sunstorm is ridiculously expensive on his own,
Sunstorm.
and now I can't own all four because Hasbro are cockheads. Like,
Yeah,
why
and
do that? Why did they do that? That
so
just
and they're actually in the 86 line, which is fucked up because they were
mm,
never in the movie. But the Rainmakers, yeah, I saw this was confirmed. Yeah, so that has four of them. Like this
yeah,
isn't a trilogy. All four of them are in this set.
yeah.
And it's based on the Starscream 86 mold. Like what the actual fuck? And
I
why is this one
I bought the
and
Siege pack.
and I still think to this day, if I'm not mistaken, you can't buy a trilogy of Seekers in one pack.
Nah, I had to buy a third party one because it was shitting me. Because I got the Earthrise Starscream, but yeah, you can't. They don't seem to come as a pack. You can get Skywarp and Thundercracker. I guess there is some business sense in that because Starscream will sell no matter what. So I can sort of, but that's still no excuse though. So I just thought, fuck it, Hasbro. You had your chance. I bought a third party of the three jets that look like Starscream. I forget what company or what brand, but I've got
The
them
only
upstairs.
the only ones I've got, fucking, I've got them tucked away up here. As far as the Seekers go, I've kind of got them in reach. They're up there next to my Ark and my
Mm.
Nemesis. Um, I actually one of them was a gift, believe it or not. I had one as a gift, and it was Starscream, and I found a good deal at the Gamesman for the other two. Um, so I had Starscream as a gift. I got Starscream, the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron Starscream as a gift. And then the Gamesman had a deal going on with Thundercracker and Skywarp, but they were marked down 50% each. So that's basically buy one, get one free. So I scored the other two like that. And that's the only set of Seekers I've got is the one from the actual video games.
Yeah.
I don't have them in any other form. I've got a 2005 or six classic Starscream somewhere, but that's pretty much it. I don't, yeah. And the fact that and yeah, I can understand why keeping Starscream out because he'll sell no matter what, and also plus the crown and the cape and the shoulder guard sort of accessories. Like I understand why. Um, but just out of nowhere, and this is totally out of character for Hasbro to do a box set that has four fucking characters in it. Like,
Yeah,
have
considering,
they ever done this before ever? Like, why now?
yeah, well, they did the three of them a couple of years ago. Yeah, so I got assholed something fierce.
Yeah, but that's why I'm not buying the 86 Sunstreaker. Like I'm not. Like if they come back to me when they get serious, like if Hasbro do punch and counterpunch, I'll buy that if they do a studio, but they won't. If they do like a Studio Series 87 Rebirth line, which they won't, and they do a new punch and counterpunch, I'll buy that, but get the fuck out of here if you think I'm going in for this. Uh, Big Rudy, August 18th, 2026. Yeah, Legend of the White Dragon. Yeah, you're gonna have to get me a yeah, you're gonna have to get me a cam rip Rudy, with hardburn Korean subtitles. I'm counting on you. You know, but Rudy, don't get distracted by that Hayden Panettiere. You know, I know Kirby's your girl. It's hands off. Um, Rebel Dynamite. I can't believe Hasbro was not doing right by Power Rangers and Transformers. Yeah, Dynamite made a mention that he was clued in on Transformers and all of that. Well, Hasbro are sort of that's sort of the problem we've got at the moment, isn't it? Is that Hasbro have pretty much given up on Transformers, and you're seeing shades of that bleed over into Power Rangers now that they own it. Yes, I get Playmates are making the toys and all of that, but it really is the same disease. Like it's G1, it's different versions, it's different colors, it's Mighty Morphin, it's different versions, it's different colors. It's the same. thing, isn't it? Like in a lot of ways, like that bleed over is happening into the reignition sort of toy line in a way.
Yeah, I think
Like I don't think like what I mean by that is I don't think reignition is ever gonna go post Mighty Morphin.
yeah, I don't think so either. We'll see how we'll see what this line does. Um and go from there. I think yeah, it'd be fun if it did, because maybe if they can squeak in, because I would like to get a more modern Turbo Megazord, but there's still a long way to go until there.
I wouldn't mind because that's the odd one out though, isn't it? With the Power Rangers Legacy line that Bandai had as a swan song, we didn't get a Legacy Shogun Megazord. So
Yeah,
that's an itch that hasn't been scratched in like what, like 10 or so years now.
yeah,
So we're right for that, but we have to go through a third wave of Ninja Zords again. And I
mm,
get like the movie just turned like what, like 31, 32 years old and stuff like that. Like, so maybe there's a bit of an appetite for it for people in the age bracket that might not have had the chance to pick them up when they could, even on a secondhand market. Like, because I think like Ninja Megazord is an awesome toy and all of that, but we have to go through that on top of whatever else they take a punt on, like maybe a new Ninja, which I wouldn't shy away from.
yeah,
A transforming Ninja and things like that. We have to go through all of that again. And it's sort of the same thing. Like, as soon as I kind of feel like as soon as Bandai Legacy line got up to the Shogun, that they were out of steam, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
what also complicates things is that the Zeo Megazord had a re-release a couple of, or at least a year or two ago, in an unrelated line. So
but it was a
that's
deluxe,
gonna,
wasn't it? Like, you couldn't separate it. It was articulated, but it couldn't split apart. Was that
yeah.
the thing
Oh
with it?
well,
Yeah.
yeah. Beggars can't be choosers. It's an oasis in the desert. Because I'd
Oh, it.
always thought as well that was an underrated Megazord. So yeah, it was
Oh,
quite a pleasant surprise to see that get a release.
you're talking about the one with the Sphinx, right? On the chest, like you're talking about that one.
Yeah, the Zeo Megazord.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's the original one. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I would like to own the Turbo Megazord because still to this day, I think in my own head canon that is the most powerful Megazord ever created. Um, like just the way the movie hypes it up, the way that it is when it makes its debut. I would like to own that. I thought about pulling the trigger on getting a vintage one, but it's sort of like what happened with the Zord Ascension project that Hasbro were doing, like the Zap. Um, I know they did the Zap Dino Zord, Zap Dragon Zord. I want to say Zap Astro Megaship, was it? Astro Megazord, I think was the other one. They did three of them, I believe. And there
yeah,
was rumors that a Zap scale White Tiger Zord was coming out, and I would have loved to have had that, but sadly that never came to be.
yeah,
It's just sort of one of those things. Like they're constantly checking the pulse all the time, but the pulse is like flatlining of where to go with things like that.
yeah,
Honestly, I would love to after seeing the see because that's one thing that would be a good crowd fund. You know what I mean? Like more stuff for Ranger actors to sign Rebel. But you know what, Rebel? I'll tell you this, Dynamite. One thing that I think would be really cool to lock behind a paywall is a whole new mold, all new articulation on a brand new Pyramidas. Like I would love to own Pyramidas as a new thing, but like totally rebuilt, upscaled, all that good stuff. Like that is definitely something that I would put in for because that is something that really needs to get backers behind to make happen. Or a brand new Serpentera. Like if you want to do a new mold on Serpentera and give him all the bells and whistles and all that kind of stuff, I would love wires in the whisks so you could make the whiskers move any way you want. That would be really cool. Light up eyes would be nice. All that kind of stuff. That is something that I would put money down on a crowdfund for because that really stretches the limit to what you can get away with on retail. Dragon Zord, man, come on, a 10-inch Dragon Zord. We're drawing the line there. Like an 18-inch light up fully articulated Serpentera, I can understand that being a crowdfund. I would love to own a Serpentera, but I'm not going vintage. Like he would need to have a new mold.
Yeah.
You know, of course it doesn't have to be to scale, but he needs a new mold. Like I'm not spending like northward of like $760 on a vintage, because like that's what like because that's always the thing that I use to deter people from buying vintage Transformer toys, is with incentives like Kingdom, new molds, the Encore series, things like that, Masterpiece. You can put your hard-earned doublins down on a vintage figure, but how do you know that's not going to be the next reissued figure in Encore? That's not going to be the next crowdfund. That's not going to be the next Combiner Wars box set brought out. You've got no
Yeah.
guarantee, right? So I always say to people, don't buy vintage, mate, because it's gonna sting you. Like I bought a original 1987 complete box, instructions, everything, Headmaster's Scorponok, from the Transformers Rebirth line that ended G1. And then if you told me Earthrise was coming out and there was going to be a Titan class new fully articulated version of that character, I never would have bothered with it, you know?
Yeah. What does Clint Eastwood say? If you're looking for a guarantee, buy a toaster.
Yeah, well, I always think about that line from Tommy Callahan. Well, why do they put a guarantee on the box? Because they know all they sold you was a guaranteed piece of shit. Like, that's all it is, right? Like, if you want me to take a shit in a box and mark it guaranteed, I've got spare time. I can do that for you. You know, like, but I always tell people, no, don't go vintage, man. Like unless for extreme sentimental reasons, don't bother with it. You know,
Yeah.
like always go without it, because like I'll tell you one that totally fucked me, and this is something, man, like I'll wear this one all the time. I went in for about 270 something dollars on a Takara Beast Wars Series 1 Tigatron, right? And then guess what ended up happening about 5 years later? The reissue line came out for the 30th anniversary of Beast Wars, and Tigatron was one of them. And it
Mm.
was the Takara mold, and you could buy it for $20. Man, I've learned the hard way, man. Like I've been taken, I've fallen prey to this shit so many times.
Yeah, you got assholed on that one.
Yeah, I know, and that was a sealed, like original, never seen the light of day, 1995 Tigatron, 1996 Tigatron from Japan, Beast Wars medals, marketing, and everything on it. I bought that. Fucking not even 4 to 5 years later, the fucking thing got reissued, and you could buy it for like not even a tenth of the price. Man, that totally fucking that's probably the worst one for me, by the way. Like that is worse than the Scorponok, because the Scorponok one, like, that took a while to happen. And that was a completely different mold. The Tigatron one, though, that was the exact same fucking toy. Man, but it's a learning experience, right? I've got to
Yeah.
wear that. I've got to wear that now. Like, I'm sure you've been caught a few times like that.
Yeah, like with the fucking rainmakers.
Yeah, the
I get
Rainmakers.
I get caught like that 2 or 3 times a week, it seems.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like, um, and that's the reason why I like the to get the Donald Gennaro figure for Jurassic Park and the Hammond collection, the Outhouse Chaos set. That was a crowdfund, but it's literally the same T-Rex. Oh yeah, but they're not going to re-release this color scheme again. They literally just released the Buck T-Rex as a San Diego Comic-Con. Like, I've got it in the next room. I can open it right now. And people said that was never going to come because the Jurassic Park Gates crowdfund failed. Because the Buck T-Rex from the Lost World was a tier in that. But that still came out, is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you really don't think they're not going to give Rexy a new mold? Really? Like, come the fuck on. Like, probably the single most famous dinosaur from Jurassic Park. Like, she's not going to get another toy?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it does my head in, but yeah, the Tigertron was probably the big one for me, man. That was without a doubt. That is not a day I want to have over again. Like I was a little bit like Donald Fisher at the end of that. Today has not been one of my better days, Nick. Like that just totally blew up in my. You know that moment at the end of the first game in Waterboy when Coach Klein is like crying on the ground with his hat. I was like that when I saw it because I had a hard time tracking down that Tigertron, and then not to mention that was the reissue Tigertron, and then the fucking Kingdom one came out like what maybe 7 or 8 months after that. So
Yeah,
like
and there'll
I
be
got
plenty
double
more.
screwed, you know.
Yeah, there'll be plenty more. He's a pretty popular character, if not probably the popular um,
Um,
for him.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I've seen a lot of people say about the Reignition Dragon Zord. While we start wrapping up, yeah, but the Rainmakers, yeah, fuck that. It's funny about the Reignition Dragon Zord that the 6 Zords for season 2 are all coming out at once. Like that's funny
Mm,
enough. It's almost like an admission that they fucked up, isn't it? That they
yeah.
did all 6 of them in one hit. But I've seen a lot of people say, like your Redditors and your YouTube comment section, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, yeah, well, the Dragon's Order is going to be an online exclusive and you can purchase it online. Gee, guys, it's kind of like it shouldn't have been a fucking crowdfund in the first place, you know? It's just one of those things. Do you reckon do you reckon you're ever going to get your hands on it?
Uh, Not if it's crowdfunded. Yeah, I just sort of steer clear of that sort of realm. But, something tells me there's a few more twists in this tale. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah,
Um,
well, because I mean, like at the end of the day, we get told what we get told. Like the official story at the moment is no one wanted to pick it up as an exclusive. I mean, we get told what we get told, right?
yeah, I
You know.
suspect. Yeah, I have a feeling it'll come out in some shape or form, but yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah, no worries, man. What do you got lined up for the weekend while we wrap up the stream?
Yeah, I started a show called The Musketeers from 2014.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty enjoyable so far. Uh, it made me want to go back and rewatch The Man in the Iron Mask, where
Oh,
it
was that
sort of,
yeah, DiCaprio, was it?
yeah, and you've got the
Yeah.
three Musketeers, um, Athos, Aramis, and Porthos, and D'Artagnan, who's their sort of ally. So, but that film sort of shows them at the back end of their career and like their sort of legendary deeds. The
Yep.
Musketeers, yeah, sort of picks up in their prime, where they encounter D'Artagnan for the first time. Peter Capaldi's good in it. He plays the Cardinal, who's sort of a recurring villain. Again, it's one I've had sitting around for a while. I think it was broadcast in 2014. But yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. I'm not as far along as I had hoped to be, but the episodes are quite dense. They run for about 50 or so minutes. But yeah, really loving it. The sword play, the costumes, the music. It's all yeah, really stunning.
The
It's
writing, the directing.
yeah, but yeah, great book. Alexander Dumas. Yeah, the Three
Yeah,
Musketeers.
by Saint Dumas.
Yeah. I mean, what an incredible writer, like the Count of Monte Cristo and the Three Musketeers. And they'll, you know, like both of those properties have had what 100 adaptations, and they'll have 100 more because they're just that good. Um,
Yeah, the Count of
so
Monte Fisto.
yeah, the Count of Monte Fisto. It's
Yeah, you think you got enough names?
yeah, he's s- yeah, and it made me want to seek out the 98 miniseries of that because the Man in the Iron Mask, Porthos is played by Gerard Depardieu, and he's kind of tonally off from the rest of them. He's very much the comedy relief, but he does sort of snap straight towards the end, and I thought he gives a really good performance. And uh, yeah, I had read that he he did his version of The Count of Monte Cristo in 1998. So I do have a copy of that as well. I would like to get to. Um, and there's been a new remake in proper French, the way it should be, of The Three Musketeers. They're on SBS on demand, and it looks jaw-dropping. The and it's a true epic. They've split it up into two movies.
Yeah.
Part one is called D'Artagnan, and part two is called Milady. And yeah, yeah, you just can't help but get swept up in the whole sort of grandeur of it. The sword play, the swashbuckling, the just that sense of adventure, all for one and one for all. The soaring music, yeah. And I'm just such a sucker for the noble, honorable man trope. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
the
I mean, like we totally born on opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm always a sucker for the Ismay Jonathan Hyde trope. Yeah, like that's me. Like I'm the opposite.
yeah.
Like I'm Danny DeVito in Twins. I'm all the shit that's left over. Um, like is what I am. Oh, that's
Yeah.
very funny, Blade.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
and so yeah, because it prompted me to sort of seek out because that was the one thing because I do love The Man in the Iron Mask. I think it's a great movie, but like in the back of your mind, like I always thought even watching it as a kid, because their reputations precede them, like their careers are over, their legendary deeds have faded into history, and that's why they cast the older
yeah,
actors like your
like
John
they're like
Malkoviches.
their legendary deeds and our bedtime stories for the kids of the
Yeah,
people that were around to experience them for real. Like
yeah,
that's
that's
how
right.
faded away they are. Yeah,
Yeah, because Damas wrote a couple of sequels set 20 years later, and so that yeah, that's why they went with Gabriel Byrne and John Malkovich and Jeremy Irons and that. I mean, they can still hold a sword. There's some fantastic action in that film, but I always thought, gee, I'd love to sort of because Disney did the their version in 1993, I think, with Charlie Sheen and Kiefer Sutherland, and I forget who the other one was. But I thought, yeah, gee, wouldn't it have been great to see these guys in their prime? And yeah, lo and behold, this show called The Musketeers comes out. And because it always sort of bothered me, like, why is it called The Three Musketeers when there's four of them? Like on the front cover, there's
it's
Athos,
like
Aramis, Porthos, D'Artagnan.
you know what? Yeah, the Three Musketeers, but there's four of them. But it's because they're taking the Hasbro approach. They want you to
Yeah,
buy the three and then release the complete collection with the fourth one after the
that's
fact.
right. They still
That's what
can't
they're
stop.
trying to do.
Yeah,
The
they still
Rainmaker.
can't. They can't stop assholing me.
Yeah, I got assholed on that one.
Yeah.
No, but that seems all right. I just flicked out. What I'm going to be checking out is the other Black
Yeah.
Series skeleton that I have to build. The Lego Tyrannosaurus Rex
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
skeleton that comes with the exclusive Alan Grant in the Montana outfit with the red flannel.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Um, I really like that one. I built the Triceratops. I just text you a photo of it. I built that one when I was talking to some mates in in Discord. I've got it on my computer desk at the moment. I really like this the Triceratops one that came out. So I might make a tackle at trying to do that. The T-Rex, but that one's probably going to be like a week's job. Like it's shaping up to be bigger than Ben-Hur.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see it now. Yeah.
Um, God, I just going through the thing. I see August 18th for the Dragon Zord. So what is that like a oh well that's oh God, sorry Rudy. That comment was a while back, but is it coming out 18th or was that White Dragon? Um Metin made a mention of, hey buddy, I have a game to recommend for you, The Last of Us. The Last of Us has come up a few times. If I can, what I'm thinking about doing is when I finish Resident Evil 9, I'm thinking about doing Resident Evil 0 next, for the video game streams, and I might do 7 after that and see where we go. But we have to finish up GTA 5 first. And now that we got the new computer set up and everything, I want to max out GTA 5 settings and see how a stream can handle that. Because full power Resident Evil 9 looks gorgeous on the streams right now. But I'm thinking we might do Resident Evil 0 uh, soon. But The Last of Us, that one's come up a few times, and I would like to do the Resistance games as well, with the Chimera, because that was always on a system I didn't have when I was in high school. So I'd like to go through that as well. But we'll see how we go over the weekend with that. But as for right now, as for the stream, thank you everyone that tuned in and listened to us do a chin wag on everything from Hannibal Lecter to Dragon Zords to Three Musketeers that are really four, and to Rainmakers and possibly even the secret fifth one. um, Everyone have a good one, and I hope everyone stays out of trouble and all that good stuff. And we'll catch you on the next one.